Have you asked yourself what eggnog is or where it came from? Well, pull up a chair, and let's take a journey through the history of this beloved holiday beverage. Eggnog, often associated with the festive cheer of Christmas, is a rich, chilled, creamy beverage that has been warming hearts and filling bellies for centuries. Imagine a concoction so smooth and velvety that it glides down your throat like liquid silk, leaving behind a sweet aftertaste that lingers on your tongue. Now couple that with the warm, earthy aroma of nutmeg and cinnamon, their fragrances wafting through the air, enveloping you in a cozy, festive embrace. That, my friends, is the magical experience of drinking eggnog. But eggnog is more than just a sensory delight. It's a drink steeped in history and tradition. Its roots can be traced back to a medieval British drink called posset. Posset was a hot, milky, ale-like beverage. Back then, milk and eggs were considered luxurious commodities, so posset was often associated with prosperity and good health. Over time, posset evolved, and by the time it crossed the Atlantic to the American colonies, it had transformed into what we now know as eggnog. The name eggnog, interestingly enough, is a blend of two colonial terms. Nog was a strong beer brewed in East Anglia, while noggin was a small carved wooden mug used to serve drinks in taverns. Put them together, and you've got a drink that's as rich in linguistic history as it is in flavor. Eggnog has stood the test of time, and today it's a staple at holiday gatherings. Its creamy goodness often spiked with a splash of rum, brandy, or bourbon for the adults. Whether you enjoy it in its traditional form or prefer a modern twist, there's no denying the allure of this festive beverage. So, now that we know what eggnog is and where it originated, you might be curious about how it's made. Stay tuned, as we're about to dive into the fascinating process of making this holiday favorite. Making eggnog might seem like a complex task, but it's actually quite simple. Let's start with the basics. The main ingredients you'll need are eggs, sugar, milk, cream, and if you're feeling a little festive, you can add a splash of your favorite alcohol. And of course, we can't forget the final touch, a dusting of nutmeg or cinnamon to garnish. First things first, we're going to separate our eggs. The yolks go in one bowl and the whites in another. You might be wondering why we're doing this. Well, each part of the egg plays a different role in the eggnog. The yolks will give us that creamy, rich base, while the whites will be whipped up to give our eggnog a light, frothy texture. Now let's turn our attention to the egg yolks. We're going to beat these with sugar until they're well combined and have a smooth, creamy consistency. This is the heart of our eggnog, the sweet and velvety foundation upon which everything else will be built. Next up, we'll gradually add in our milk and cream. These will lighten up our egg and sugar mixture, turning it into a decadent, custard-like base. The key here is to add the milk and cream slowly, while continually whisking. This ensures that everything gets incorporated evenly, and our eggnog has a smooth, consistent texture. While our yolk mixture is chilling out, let's go back to those egg whites we set aside earlier. We're going to beat these until they form stiff peaks. This is where the magic happens. The egg whites will transform from a clear, liquid consistency to a fluffy, cloud-like texture. Once the egg whites have reached the right consistency, we're going to fold them into our yolk mixture. This is the step that gives our eggnog its signature frothy texture. It's important to fold the egg whites in gently to ensure we don't lose that lightness we worked so hard to achieve. Now, for those of you who like a little extra kick in your eggnog, this is the time to add your favorite alcohol. A splash of rum, brandy, or bourbon can add a warming depth of flavor that pairs perfectly with the creamy sweetness of the eggnog. But remember, this step is completely optional. Finally, we come to the finishing touch. A generous dusting of nutmeg or cinnamon not only adds a wonderful aroma, but also gives our eggnog that classic holiday flavor. And with that, our eggnog is complete. And there you have it. Your homemade eggnog is ready to be served and enjoyed. Whether you're sipping it by the fire or sharing it with friends and family, there's something about homemade eggnog that just feels right. So go ahead, pour yourself a glass and savor the taste of this festive tradition. So, what have we learned about eggnog today? We've journeyed through the story of eggnog, this sweet, creamy beverage that is so much more than just a holiday drink. We've traced its roots back to medieval Britain, where a similar concoction was enjoyed by the populace. It's amazing to think how a beverage with such humble beginnings has transformed into a festive staple enjoyed by millions around the globe during the holiday season, particularly at Christmas. We've also discovered that the process of making eggnog is quite straightforward, yet allows for a lot of creativity. At its core, it involves a simple process of mixing eggs, sugar, milk, and cream. This base recipe can then be modified and enhanced to suit individual tastes. Some prefer their eggnog with a spike of alcohol, adding a note of warmth and complexity to the drink. Whether it's rum, brandy, or whiskey, the choice of spirit can significantly alter the flavor profile of the eggnog. Garnishing is another opportunity to add a personal touch to the eggnog. It's typically sprinkled with a dusting of nutmeg or cinnamon, adding an aromatic layer to the drink. These spices not only enhance the taste but also add a festive scent that is so synonymous with the holiday season. But eggnog isn't just about taste, it's about tradition, about nostalgia, about creating memories with loved ones over a shared glass of this delectable drink. It's about celebrating the holiday spirit in a way that is unique and personal to each one of us. So, as we wrap up our exploration of eggnog, we're left with an appreciation for this beloved beverage that goes beyond its sweet, creamy taste. We've gained an understanding of its rich history, the simple process behind its creation, and the countless ways it can be enjoyed and personalized. Next time you enjoy a glass of eggnog, you'll not only appreciate its taste, but also its rich history and the process behind its creation.